Good morning. We are live. It is 7:02 a.m. on Thursday, April 25th, 2019. Once again, here in South Korea. I am Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. I actually didn't sleep very well for reasons that are not clear to me. I am just still feeling kind of just very, ugh, you know, I don't really need to put an additional word on that. I say I didn't sleep very well and I feel, ugh. I think you get it, right? I mean, that's not unclear, even if it's not technically a word. Anyway, the primary thing that I intend to talk about today is that last night I was able to go see Avengers Endgame. Because I am in South Korea, you might be wondering if I saw it in English, and the answer is yes. The American Western movies, when they play in the movie theaters here, they are in English with Korean subtitles, and so I did see it with Korean subtitles. I also saw it in a 4DX screening, which is a place where like the seats kind of move around a little bit, and it has like these fans that blow air on you at certain times, and it does all sorts of other weird little special effects, and that's pretty cool. I mean, it's not a big deal. It adds a little, and it's not like a big deal, but it's neat. And it was in 3D. And so, yeah, so those were the technical things. I went to see it with a couple of my coworkers who are also interested. And so, without being around the bush, but I will say I'm going to do my best to be completely spoiler-free, because I know that's kind of what people want until they see it, So I think if you want spoilers, there's certainly enough people who have seen it now that I'm sure you could find those if you seek them out, but none here. I guess I'm happy to report that it's real good. I liked it a lot. I think that it's big and complex, of course, because it's this huge crossover of all of these characters, so many characters, and it is attempting to put like capstone on 10 years and 20 plus movies of continuity and really kind of try to wrap all that up with a big pretty bow. And it's so complex that nothing that complicated could ever be perfect, but what it is incredible. I am extraordinarily pleased with it. I think it's extremely impressive how well they managed to tie so many different pieces together in a way that feels surprising but satisfying. It's long but never boring or slow. It's always it's long just because there's a lot of stuff happening. Never because it feels bloated or stretched out. It's just that there's a lot of story to tell, and I think that you will, without giving away anything, I think you'll be surprised by the direction the story goes at a couple of points. And I think that there's a lot to like for several of the secondary characters. I think if people have nitpicks about various points, it's probably just going to be about so-and-so's favorite secondary character didn't really get to do very much, that sort of thing. By and large, I think pretty much every character gets some kind of a moment, which is nice. But for the most part, the movie is focused on like the main core Avengers team, from the original movie, right? So you got Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America, Scarlet Johansson plays Black Widow, Hawkeye, and did I say Hulk? Thor. And so those, like that core team, like, so primarily the story is about them. They get the most. And It's a roller coaster. There's ups, there's downs, there's excitement, there's action, of course. There's a lot of really well told character arcs and uh, uh, just good character work and good performances and good dialogue, and all of that layered into this incredibly ambitious, epic, multi-layered, complex comic book crossover story that is very, very good. I liked it a lot. It's frankly, like, I was expecting to like it, just like I've come to kind of feel about every Marvel movie. You know, Marvel movies have built like a pedigree to where I expect to at least enjoy every single one of them. And to date, there hasn't been a single one that I didn't like. I would say some are better than others. And I'll say that Infinity War, personally, like, I like what it's doing in terms of it being kind of this big epic crossover in a way that hadn't really been done before. And I like lots of the stuff in it. But by its very nature, being this part one that ends on a sad, like, well, we lost, like, that can't help but feel not necessarily as like, oh yeah, I'm pumped about Infinity War, that's great. It's more like, well, yeah, I mean, it's very cool, but we're waiting for the other shoe to drop, right? Well, now it's dropped, and it drops hard. I don't know, that analogy maybe doesn't work because it, drop the ball makes it sound like it's bad or something. But let me just reiterate, they do not drop the ball. Excuse me. They do not drop the ball. It is, many different balls are juggled expertly and entertainingly for 3 hours, and I was left enormously satisfied when it was all done. And once again, nothing this complicated is ever going to be perfect, so I'm sure that anyone could go through that whole runtime and say, well, I kind of wish this was different, or I kind of wish that was different, or I kind of wish this person got to do more, that sort of thing. There's lots of that, and there could never not be that. But what it is great. So I recommend you go see it. Go see it with a crowd. Opening weekend, if you can. Obviously, if you can't, then, I mean, your schedule better than me, but it's great. 2 thumbs up. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.